Today we are going to discuss about RPA OpenSpan training. So about myself, that I'm a RPA consultant in HCL Technologies. I have a more than 3 years of experience in RPA domain and 6+ years of experience as a .NET developer. Because around 3 years ago that I was full stack developer. So I worked on a .NET framework, C Sharp, Web API, JavaScript, MVC, all these things I was working. Then I decided to move on my profile to the RPA field. So in RPA, I started my career with the tool name is Blue Prism. So Blue Prism summer project, I have worked on a Blue Prism, but after that, I got an opportunity to work on the Pega OpenSpan. So till now, it's more than 2 years that I have been working as a Pega OpenSpan developer. So this is the total experience about the as a Pega OpenSpan developer. And currently, I'm associated with HCL Technologies, as I mentioned earlier. Let's start about the RPA OpenSpan training. So the scope of the demo is like we are going to cover something that introduction of the Pega OpenSpan, the web integration of the web integration and the window integration, debugging, and the folder structure, event procedures part of. So this we are going to cover actually. So this is the link where I completed my training about the Pega robotic automations. So there are around multiple modules which we have to complete. And here after completing the modules, there are some tasks, there are some challenges that we have to complete. So all of that, as for regarding the Pega OpenSpan, all the points have been covered in there, like deploying, debugging, testing the automations, creating the automation, integrating the Windows and web application, that how we actually automate the Windows and web application. So let's start with the Pega robotic automation. So the basic objective was the Pega robotic automation, that to identify the features and benefits of the Pega robotic automation, differentiate between Pega robotic desktop automation and the Pega robotic process automations. So if we come to the point that we have to understand the concept of the robotic automations, what is our actual the RPA, why it is coming to the concept since last 5 years, why it has been in the demand in the market. So robotic automation is generally that it's an event-driven software used to automate the tasks and processes otherwise performed by humans. So the basically we create softwares, we create web applications, we create mobile apps for the humans to use. Somehow in the bigger corporations, like there are a lot of manual work needed to perform those applications, banking software, ensuring domain-based software. Because after all that, once you become a software professional, you will create a application and then you will provide to the client, so the client and his customers can use that sort of software. And a lot of the back-end works and a lot of the other work that are performed by the humans, which is quietly cost effective in that manner. So robotic automations comes into the culture that they can actually automate the user interactions which happens in the big organizations. So it will reduce the cost, and it as a robot event driven software, so they perform their tasks work well, and we can keep the record all of the operations done by the bot softwares. So as a second point, we are saying that it's a robotic automation is a style of automation where a software robot mimics a work of human users to perform various tasks that are repetitive. That the main point is the repetitive. In the big organization, a lot of humans have to perform, they use a software, some data entry to perform their operations, to make their approvals. All the process has been online, and it is being done in the software platform. So it is quite repetitive task for the lot of humans and the organization as well. Somehow I have to make an entry on the daily basis, process those organization and get them approval from the organization, and close the tasks and close all the supports. like there are some issues that have been performed by the humans, like providing a support like KPO BPO process, so which is quite repetitive, and there is also chance of the human error that could be mishandled. So robotic automation helps in this style of automation where the software robots can actually perform the work that human user, like a data entry, like the to run the complete workflow of the software or the web application that has been created by the coders, software professionals, and which are actually repetitive because every software has some is specified to determine to work on a particular basis, like there are banking softwares, like there are auditing softwares, and there are some other like online traveling. These are the best examples, online traveling. So every software that has that are being developed for the specified manner, so it's very common that the task will be repetitive, and a lot of users, lot of humans that will perform the work on the daily basis. So robot automation helps in that way, so a lot of works can be automated, and we can keep the best track record for these automations which we can do. So coming to the third point, the software robots through the automation process execute the workflow involving the multiple steps and interaction with different applications. So once the robotic automation comes, so as we discussed this, it's a event based driven software. So what it actually does that if I have to write a mail on the gmail.com, so what it will do, it will open the Gmail and will click on the compose button and write the mail. Like once he interrogates, interrogation means, like I say, that once he is specified that this control is a text box and this control is a button, so on the basis of that information that the bots collected, so then he performs the operation. So example, there are multiple applications like Google, multiple web applications like the auditing company use their in-house softwares, in-house mainframe application, and a lot of web applications that can be automated through a software robot or the robotic application things. So I hope you guys are clear with the concept of the robotic automation, that why we use to so the basic that the robots that helps humans to reduce their workload as a repetitive work, and keeps the best reporting of the data that has been handled by the bots. So it helps the users and the clients to keep their records and make track the progress of the bot and the performance of the bot, that how bot performs well. So it helps the lot of clients and users in the so many ways. So coming to the next slide, and there are multiple tools in RPA. Somehow, I hope you heard about the different RPA tools called UiPath, because as we know that the UiPath is free and easy to access. So a lot of organization clients, they are using UiPath, and after UiPath, Blue Prism has come to the concept, and some organization comparison to the UiPath, Blue Prism is bit costlier than the UiPath. So some organization has some, they are using the Blue Prism path. And regarding the Pega thing, Pega itself, it provides a platform to help the users to make a workflow. But in the Pega world, they provides some tools like OpenSpan. So Pega OpenSpan is basically used for the make the automations that helps perform to that helps to automate the applications. So Pega, in all three the tools, RPA tools, Pega is the most costlier, and very few companies actually they use the Pega RPA as a tool comparison to the UiPath and Blue Prism. So moving to the next part, as I explained that the Pega robotic automation can support Pega platform by automating front-end applications, and they do not have any accessible platform channel by using the right tool for the right time. For example, if an application has an API, the platform can access the application API. If the application does not have an API, then the Pega robotic can access the application for the use of the case lifecycle. So this was the introduction about the Pega OpenSpan. So what it actually does, the Pega. Once if we come to the part of the Pega OpenSpan, so it helps to the Pega robotic actually helps to automate the web-based, window-based, mainframe-based application to automate and perform their task on the daily basis that are repetitive, that was handled by the human users on the daily basis. So Pega has a same object to like the other RPA tools to automate the different type of application to reduce the workload of human users, and the in the terms of finance that it's a very cost effective in the terms of the automating the task. So as far that we have completed the Pega OpenSpan, it's Pega OpenSpan is basically a Microsoft based Visual Studio platform which has been used to perform the applications. So let me go to my slide. Let me show you the framework where we actually automate the applications. So, like any framework, Pega OpenSpan has a framework which is called the Pega Robot Studio. So, as for now, the software, because I am associated with my client, so I can't use my official laptop to show the demo because it's not, it's against the policy of the. So I'm using my personal laptop, and we have some documentation presentation about to show you the actual the working that how Pega OpenSpan works. So once you click on the Pega Robot Studio, so the window will be open, and then you will have to select the file, new project, and add the new project. Some of users are familiar with the Microsoft Visual Studio. They have done coding in the C sharp. So like in the same concept in the C sharp, you can select the file, then click on new, and then click on the project and add new project. This window will display, and the this window will display that you can select two options, that the Pega robotic project. Pega robotic project will, they have some predefined files like configuration files, and they will have some folder structure, and there are some the other files as well, which is a template based project. And if you want to add some customizable files, you can select the empty Pega robot, and here where you have to select the project, what is the name of your project, and the location where you want to save, and the solution name that you can provide. It's the same concept as the Microsoft Visual Studio that you are using. Some professionals are using, who have experience in the C sharp, they are using the .NET Core. So because they are well about that of Microsoft Visual Studio 2015 to 2012. So the same concept that OpenSpan follows. So it is very easier to the guys who have worked on the C sharp, who actually have some experience in the C sharp and .NET framework training. So as for selecting, then click OK. Click OK. Then in the name field, this is the solution name, and this is the project name. As you can see, the properties, you can see the properties is nothing else like that. They have some the properties that you want to. There are some predefined settings files that you can do, and references like DLL files that you can import at any DLL, or you can delete any DLL the things. So this will be your folder after giving the name, and once you select the file location where you want to save the your project. And after that, on the solution explorer, right click, training explorer, then the context menu, add new project. So they are using the. Okay, let me show you Windows project. Now just select the empty project. So they have selected, this is called the empty select project. So they again the add, because in this solution, what this documents actually wants to show that in this solution we can add multiple projects here. If you can see that here, that you can, there are some projects have been added, like Acne Search and their CRM project, they have been added. So while clicking on the right click, once you click on this solution, then you will see the option that add new project, and the alternative was that you can also go to the file and select the new project. So whatever you way to choose to create a new project, so this is the way. So This is your solution explorer, because the C# developer know that what is the solution explorer in the Microsoft Visual Studio. So in the same way, they can see their project and add their files to work on the Pega based automations. So let me move to the next slide. We come to the web integration and the window integration object. To complete this point, what is the web integration and the window integration? Web integration, window integration is nothing but how the software will integrate with web or window to automate the task or perform the task that it has been designed to. So there are some tools of the that which is called adapters, and if we go to the adapters, the adapters are nothing like but they are the tools which help us, which are defined, which actually defines that the application would be window or web. We can choose. As you can see, there are some topics are covered, that the adapters, there are window adapters and there are the web adapters, because without adapters we won't be able to perform any application, whether it's window based or the web based. So in the short, I would like to explain about the adapters. So as you can see that the Pega Robot Studio uses adapters to integrate and interact with system. Communication between applications is difficult when applications are separate. Companies can improve workflow by using adapters to integrate applications to interact with one another. So on the short of term, that I would say, like if you have to connect like Google, if you have to connect like Gmail, like you have to write a mail on that. Let me show you the Gmail part. Like this is the Gmail, and the daily basis user have to read the file, read the mails and compose the mail. Suppose I have to write a mail and I want my robot software to write a mail to the particular any client or users. So how the bot will interrogate? So these adapters help to integrate with this Gmail application, web based application. So there are different types of adapters. Like you can see, there are common adapters. The common adapters are window, web. There are some universal web adapters. So different type of adapters. So window web adapters, like any Java application or SAP application, I hope you have heard about, or any like there are Notepad, there are calculators, there are very sample basic application I'm trying to explain. So window based application. So for window based application, you need to select the window adapter, and for the web, then you have to select the web adapters. The basic difference between web and universal web is that the universal web is used to integrate with the browsers like Chrome and Firefox, and the web adapter is used for to integrate the Internet Explorer. So if we want to integrate with the Internet Explorers, then we have to select the web adapter. Otherwise, we have to select the universal web adapter if we want to perform a task on a Chrome or a Firefox. The text adapter basically used for the emulators. Emulators is called that is the mainframe application. So these are the adapters. And how we do the integration. So I'm going to explain video. So before do that, we have to add and configuring adapters to perform, to interrogate the controls. If I'm saying that interrogation of controls, so it means that to write on a text box. Suppose if I have to write something like this, hi, Mindmajix. There's a basic example. So this task has been performed by me to type hi Mindmajix. So suppose if any robot software, how would that software would type like hi Mindmajix? So for that, he has to determine that this is the text box, this is the text area, this is the subject line, and this is the recipients. Because robot software needs to specify like that in the recipient text box, that the software enters the recipients, the client email ID, and the subject line it will enter. So these are the controls that the two text box, the subject text box, and the text area, the body of the email that is going to write. So robot software first have to specify and determine that what controls are being used for the particular work, because we can't write the email body like hi, something like this. We can't write the email body part in the subject matter. Subject matter basically used for the basic, the headline, the basic, the subject of the email. So robot software also has to specify this is the subject text box, this is the recipient's text box, and this is the text area for the writing the email body. So this is a kind of the adapter that helps user to specify and determining the controls, which we call in the OpenSpan term, it's like the interrogation controls. So come to the point. So how do we are adding and configure controls? So in here, both window and web adapter has been added and configured on this documentation. Like you have to select the right click on the add and the add section. You have to select the new window application. And in the new window application, once you open that, so in the right hand side of the property window box, that will appear on this the right section of the framework, Pega Robot Studio framework. So what is here, that you will name of the you will give the name of the adapter and the path you will choose. The path is basically nothing like that but the path of the any particular application. Like there is a application of the any window that has been installed on your system, so you have to give the complete path of here. So after giving the path, there are some start method and the start timeout. There are some stop method which you can specify. Like some application they don't want to be mean, a robot scheduler gets started. So some application, when will they have to start, they have to start or not. So this kind of property helps them. And in to add a configure and in terms of web adapter, I hope this will clear to you guys. Like in the web adapter, we can select the web adapter part like the same that we selected here, because in apart from selecting the new window application, we have to select the new web application. And the web adapter, as I mentioned earlier, it is used for to integrate with the internet explorers. And the universal web application, it is meant to be used to integrate with the Chrome browser or any the Opera, Firefox, whatever that user use, they actually do that. So in the same concept, you have to give the name of adapter and you have to give the path of the adapter. Sorry, this is the window, I guess. So in the web adapter, you have to select the property that if the project gets started, whether it will open the browser or not. So you by this you can select the true or false, and whatever the web application that you want to open. Like here is mentioned that http training OpenSpan here. So here you can give the complete URL, the application, the web application that you want to open, irrespective of any browser. So suppose if I want to open a Gmail, so I will put this on the Gmail part, on the start page part. So this is about the configuring the adapters. And after adding and configuring the adapters, then how we actually start working the adapters with those browsers. So as I said, there is an interrogation. So there are some basic interrogations. Interrogation means like that how to detect that this is the link button, this is the text area, this is the particular box. Like in this site, you can see there are the link buttons. A lot of link buttons are there. There are some menu buttons and there are some search buttons. So how that robot software will specify or determine that this is the search button. So adapters in that manner help us to identify those controls, that what are the web controls that we are going to use. So as for that, coming to the interrogation of window and web applications. So moving to the interrogation part. So we once we add the adapter, then we can see this window of interrogation. So there are four tabs you can see, that match rules, windows, screenshot, and the other things. Just give me a second. So as of now, that we have given quite brief introduction of the Pega OpenSpan, web integration and window integration, where we have explained. For the debugging part is nothing like that. Debugging, if I come to this quickly. Like debugging is nothing that when you run a particular project or a particular automation. So the C sharp developer, because I worked as a C sharp developer earlier, so we know that how we can set the breakpoints in the debugging section. So in the same that we can do here, if I create any automation here, let me show you this quickly, because we have to in depth for creating the automations, all the parts. So using breakpoints and diagnostics logs here, we can use actually. So it's a very easy part for the debugging to the automation. Like as you can see, this the executing line. So this yellow line is are called the executed lines, and the blue dot you can see. So we also create this to transfer the data, and we use this arrow to actually perform the next operation. Like the login perform has been created, so that what it should be written. So this yellow line will needs to be the breakpoint. While the help of debugging, we can debug all those functionality. Like you can see here are the red dots, so which can be set here. Actually, check the process of the automation bot that it's performing. Because if something that error comes up, exception comes up, or any error, so we can diagnose and debug that where actually we need to fix. And for the testing purpose, it's also help us to perform this. Folder is structure is nothing like, but the folder is structure that in the solution explorer, that how we are going to the follow the code standard in the solution explorer. As I show you the earlier part of the solution explorer, which is in on the right side of the framework. So like there are some folders, three types of folder we basically used, actually four types of folders. First for to holding the variable, first for the procedures. Procedure are nothing but the automations, and the events. Events in something like that, something has to be performed, like we have to start the application or any on the particular basis of click event. So these that sort of things are coming to the event you as considered as the starting point, the application you can come to. So there will be some folder like events, then there will be some folder like procedures, then there will be some folder like you can say the variables. In variables there are some global container which we will discuss later in the live demo session, which is going to the participants. So these are the events and procedure you can see. So all comes in this the folder structure part. So course outline, as I already mentioned that I given in the introduction that RP and Pega robotics and its features, the creation of the open standard Pega robotics studio, that how you select the project in the new section and you create. And the windows integration, if you have to automate any window based application, then you can automate the windows integration. If you have to automate any web application like Google or anything like you want to automate, that you can use the web integration. Then the debugging part that to diagnose and to check the actual processing, to fix the errors and to test the automations, which help of the breakpoints, which I already discussed. And finally that this another two more important aspect of the Pega Robot Studio, that deploying the OpenSpan solution. But before the deploying OpenSpan solution, that variable and global container. So as I mentioned that the we have one more section in the solution that is called variables. So in the global container, some variables which are being shared by the any automation or any event or any procedures. If we want to make them as a private, so we can create the local variables or public variables like we do in Java and C Sharp. So global container, it's actually the platform where we can put the public variable, whether it's date based, string based, boolean based, or integer based. So this is all about the global containers. And coming to the deploying applications, deploying OpenSpan solutions. So once we done with the development of the OpenSpan solution and we tested the automation is working fine on the testing environment, so we have to deploy this in the UAT so that testing team that actually, because the unit testing, after the completion of the unit testing, so some tester have to test that application on the UAT environment. So UAT environment, then we have to give it to the client for the production environment. So deploying so there are some procedures where we can deploy that. So for that, the Pega Robot Manager is far most important. That how we actually configure the Pega Robot Manager. Pega Robot Manager and Pega Robot Studio are two different things. Pega Robot Manager, we create some work groups and work queues, and work queues, the cases are being created, and which would be picked up by the Pega robots. Then after that, the bot has been deployed in the UAT. Then it would picked up that particular bot or section to perform their application. So it's all about the production on the UAT thing, but it's a far more later concept. Once we complete with all the basic points, then we come to the deploying the span solution, which is a bit complexive, I would say, and more important point. So add-on topics, like I discussed that deployment of the Pega OpenSpan, that how we actually deploy the Pega OpenSpan, because we have to configure the bots, we have to configure the environment, and we have to configure the configuration files, as well as because it's all apart from the Pega robot studio. The coding is different, automation, creating the automation is different, but setting up the environment that you are going to deploy your bot, it's something totally different. So this is all the add-on topics that we are going to cover in next phase of the live demonstrations. As additional core resources, there are the Pega Robot System Pega Academy. So this is the link which I will share to you guys. So you can go up to, if you finish this, after finishing this session, so anytime you can reach out to these modules, completing your task. Once you have your softwares on the Pega OpenSpan, so you can do this, the configuring adapters, using the breakpoints, and a lot of features that will come in the future, like the use key properties, the other things, that how window form that's gets created, and the interaction framework, which is the most important point of that. And finally, you can give the testing with the passing score. It's 80%. It's mandatory. So this link will help you to learn the Pega robotic OpenSpan a lot. So you can start with the training with this object. So here I shared the links, so you can reach out to that part in future, that if you have to still have confusion in the robotic part. So when after finishing the all the points or the modules of the OpenSpan, so we will pick up two projects. First project will be automating the web application, the interrogation of controls, creating the procedures, and the events and folders, that how we will create the event and folders as per the business standard codes, because there are some coding standards in the Pega Robot Studio as well, and the test the automations, and the automate the window application, like the web, we will create a second one to automate the window application, including that interrogation of control. I also that how the bot will identify that this is a text area, this is the link button, this is this and that, and the all the other controls which is used in the window applications. With the procedure, nothing like that. The procedure automation is also about the automation, which I will explain in the later sessions. Global container variables and configuring the file components. There are some components in the file configuration that you can use in the automation as well, apart from the global container variables. So in the project sessions, so it will very clarify us to that when it comes to the working to the projects part. So system requirements, there are some system requirements. So this is a system requirements for the Pega Robot Studio to perform the operations. So there are some interview questions. So we'll have the mock interview question as well. Two rounds there will be there. First of the basic technical rounds, that I will ask to you guys some technical questions to understand that how you have the basic understanding of the Pega OpenSpan. And the second will I will give you the scenario to that how you perform that that if I give a particular scenario that how your bot will perform, that what kind of interrogation you will do, what kind of the logic you will implement. So the two rounds will be held in the later sessions. Certification, you can, I hope you are all the professionals working in your company, so you can recommend to your company to get your this PCRSA, it's Pega Certified Robotic System Architect part. So in here you can get, there will be some questions you have to, I'll give you the modules, I'll give you some samples, so mock papers, so which will help you to clarify those tests and you can get the certifications, because in every organization they ask for the certification if you want to apply any new job in Pega OpenSpan. So somehow the certification of RPA tools is must for the organization once they are going to hire any employee. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Thank you.